because I am live.
And I am scandalized.
And
Let's review the results of the poll.
I can't do this. It's fine.
We'll
just go ahead. So we ran a poll.
Yes.
And now
We've got results for you.
yes. That's what's going on. So,
We thought we were so great and so awesome. We went, yes, we have 300 subscribers. We love talking to people. We'll be able to get so many clicks.
we'll do an engagement poll and we'll see what people would like to watch and where their interest is. So we got like a total of like three responses all together.
Yeah, in relation to this.
And there was neutral and positives in two directions. So really we're in the same place we were.
We do actually have one winner for a very strong reason.
We
because
do.
it was funded over on Ko-Fi by Al. Thank you very much, Al. We have Doki Literature Club.
So my friend, was that even on the poll?
No.
However, we do often mention our Ko-Fi at the end of all of our videos and state that, you know, you can sponsor games over there. And we have had a game be sponsored.
Yes.
Now, unlike Freshman Fantasies, which our lovely sponsor came in and went, hey, I had this idea, let me throw some money at you.
Yeah, for Liana. Liana was great.
And we decided to, you know, look at that for a while. This one, we actually stated a price for the whole thing as a game, basically knowing what it was, assuming we knew what it was.
Yes.
And Al came in and just went, here you go, plap, do it. So we are going to be switching over on Monday, which if you're seeing this right away, is tomorrow. We're going to be moving Freshman Fantasies off the docket for right now and shoving Doki Literature Club into that space.
Yes.
And then when we finish Doki, if nobody else swings in,
Yes.
we will go back to Freshman Fantasies.
And hopefully, I'm hoping by then we will be done with somebody else. So maybe at that point when we're done with it, we'll have maybe something else we can shift on to, which actually kind of leads us to our next point. Because Al actually had a good question for us that we've heard this question kind of over and over again. And
Yes.
it's about the Arcana. Because guess what? We have had many requests actually for potentially like wondering what we're going to do in relation to the other routes.
And,
so we're going to do a quick refresher, which is quite literally, so our plans were, okay, to do Julian, Nadia, and Asura in that order, and the big three, so they're the big main ones, and then we were going to stop because of the amount of work that we've basically had to do with this particular run, and also the requirements of dealing with Nyx Hydra.
I say, even without that, when we originally started, we were only planning on doing 3 because we knew it's a very, very large game.
Yes.
And we like to play different things. Not that we haven't enjoyed the Arcana, and now that we've done like the updated prologue, and we've developed our second MC for our, you know, Nadia's route,
Yes.
we're a little more like, hey, we could do this different every single time. Like, really different, and we're kind of excited about that idea. But so that was our plan, and now we've had quite a few people from various different avenues all come in and be like, hey, when are you going to play Pasha's route? When are you going to play, you know, Lucio's route? When are you going to do Muriel's route? And so we're not sure how to approach these things other than to say, you could sponsor it. Now, the difficulty with that is, as my good friend Scandal was saying here, is that due to Nyx Hydra's requirements, they're a bit time intensive to create. Now, we've gotten better based on our run with Julian and learning that lesson at just not saying what we're not supposed to say, so that we don't have to go through and spend hours editing out the dialogue.
Oh God, yeah, all of it, which has been super intense. Holy cow.
It is a lot of work to make stylistic choices when we're, you know, just enthusiastically talking and performing and such, of where to cut it, especially when we ad-lib really aggressively onto the end of a sentence. I say, but so we've got that to make it a little bit simpler, but the fact that we are doing custom art, and it's sort of like directorially together, and then my good friend Scandal here does all the hard, heavy lifting of that.
Yes.
Which I respect and appreciate. But that makes it so we've got to invest art supplies as well as additional time other than performance into doing our kind of stuff. So if we were gonna do more than just the basics, which people seem to have less strong interest as an audience into the newer 3 characters, I guess the newer 3 routes.
Right.
And so that's why we were kind of going, you know, we don't plan on doing those ultimately because it would be harder to get an audience for them.
Yes, but if there is people who have interest, we were going, what would that then potentially look like? Because we would be kind of looking at you guys going like, hey, we could come up with something, but we're not sure.
Right. So it'd be sort of like just trying to figure out, okay, what is a good sort of like asking price to go, would you sponsor us for this thing so we don't die under an art burden kind of thing?
Yes, kind of thing. And it's not necessarily a burden. It's been, like, on my end, it's been a lot of fun sometimes, and other times. So I've had days where I've struggled quite a bit, and I've had other times where I haven't really at all. And it kind of bobs back and forth, but that's just kind of how the way art works. But it's also one of those things that was also really killing us, too, is why Julian has taken so long to basically go back through our old catalog. Truly has been going back and spending days basically cutting out all of the language from the original game that they said that we weren't allowed to show, which was a lot of the paid scene material.
Right, and picking out and going and finding, again, all those resources for what exactly is paid scene dialogue and what's not.
Yeah, and where did it come from and who said it and blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah, and so there's all of that. Other than that, it's mostly just like all the games we've asked to be sponsored in general have just been this is what it would cost us to get a hold of the game.
Yes.
And so it's basically doing it at cost. And then ultimately we would hope that if we can get a large enough audience that we can just partner with YouTube, and then we don't have to like try and count on you guys and be like, hey, fund us kind of thing.
Right. Well, because that's part of the problem also too, of where it's like, so I've been a little bit more resistant to it just because I don't particularly enjoy YouTube's practices in general, or the idea of basically people using advertising to sort of like prey on people, because I don't like advertising. I've never really liked advertising in that way. I really wanted to be like, let's go through Patreon, let's go through Ko-Fi kind of thing, so that we could basically just be like, whatever you guys are interested in and also what we could come up with would help us, so that we could just do this as a job. We could do this because we want to do, because we could do this because this was a thing that we've both been working on for several years. We want to do this.
Yes.
But it costs.
I was going to say, so when Markiplier did his interview and said, I never wanted to be a Let's Player kind of thing, we're going, actually, both of us have really liked the idea of being a Let's Player.
Yeah.
And I've thought about it for years and then dragged my friend Scandal in it because I thought, the more the merrier.
Right? Here we are.
Because games are more fun when shared. The whole point, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that was one of the things, especially for me, being a big part of fandoms, and obviously with you guys being super interested in the Arcana, sharing the Arcana, which is what we're asking about now, going like, where can we go with this? Because this is a fandom involvement. Where do you guys want to go with this? How could we do this? Like, is there a price that you guys would think would be reasonable based on the amount of work that we potentially would be dumping into this? Which is not a bad dump, I apologize, but it's the only way I can think of. Investing into it. How about that?
And in that case, really mostly to cover like art supplies.
Yes.
And stuff, because markers are not cheap, man.
They really are not. If you do not know, I am actually a traditional artist, so that's a little bit complex.
So that takes a little bit more work. And if either of us were ever going to move over to digital, well, we have nothing to start with, so that would be a huge investment on its own.
Yes.
I'll say, but one thing that would help us is, in general, if our channel grows and we can eventually partner with YouTube, and then maybe even ultimately unpartner if things go really, really well,
right?
Who knows?
Which would be great.
Then we can just pick games that people are most interested in, and YouTube can pay the bills.
Yes.
Kind of thing. And so other than that, it's just kind of sort of trying to offset or remove any cost for doing the channel in general at this particular juncture.
Yes.
So one of the biggest ways you can engage in that is like sending us to other people. And I imagine we attract as many introverts as we have here. Or I also get this idea that we attract some people that are more like, me and my good friend Scandal here, whereas like, we like this prospect and we're enjoying it, but it'd be really hard to share it with anybody else we know or in our family for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when they try and sell you those boxed businesses, and they're like, yeah, just use your Facebook friends. I'm like, yeah,
I don't have any.
Just call your 20 or 30 closest friends. I'm like, I haven't had 20 or 30 closest friends in my life, so
the entirety of my whole life altogether, that does not equate to that number, even as close.
Yeah, and then they're like, well, just, anyway, so that's what we're looking at. And that might be a little bit disorganized with us because both of us are a little bit awkward just asking about money.
Yes.
Like, that's kind of where we are of going, there's probably a way to ask about it that just somebody will go, yes, but if that's what they want to do, then you're just supporting them and giving to you. And I've just always felt that was sort of a cop-out in like a capitalism market, but at the same time we're also have been really, really grateful and excited every time someone has swung in and been like, here, I think you should have this.
Right.
And it's been really neat.
Yeah. So again, just to reiterate really quickly, the idea then is to go, okay, so we're going to need then people's help for deciding what this could potentially look like. Because the thing is that if somebody decides to sponsor us, and if we can decide on basically, I guess, a price,
Right.
that everybody would kind of think would be kind of fair and equitable all around kind of thing, we then would be spending a ton of time on this. We'd be doing premium art on our own, you know, to make up for the scenes.
It's not premium art.
It's a premium art, quite literally.
We'd be doing traditional art.
Traditional premium art, though, but it's still premium. I didn't say CG.
No, but it's not premium because they don't have to pay to get to it. It's
oh,
not
it's
locked
true.
off.
It would be there anyway because I'm generous. Like, no, I'm kidding. But the idea would be basically, though, too, that somebody could come in and basically you could be like, hey, I'm going to put money towards Lucio's route, and Lucio would be next after Julian. Kind of thing, instead of, you know, doing Nadia. Not that we wouldn't do Nadia to like afterwards, or that we wouldn't do Astra afterwards, like depending on where they end up. But it would be one of those particular cases of going, because they were paid for, we'd go, hey, you get to go first, kind of thing.
So in this case, we're looking for some engagement. If any of you are actually in the Arcana fandom, and there's anybody that you know that's either watching the series, or you're in any Arcana blogs, or you know anybody that would be interested in Arcana content, be like, all right, are you interested in this? And then would you be interested in more of this, and then in what direction?
Yes.
And
even if you're not, and just having fun with us, which would be really cool, actually.
I was going to say, well, and that's what I mean. So if people want what they've been asking for, which is more additional routes, then we need input.
Yes, we do really do need input.
And so to get that input, it might be valuable to get more people in, to get more than, 2 opinions.
Which, again, those 2 opinions are fantastic and great.
Greatly.
We absolutely appreciate the 3 opinions technically total that came in. Because one person came in going, hey, I would like arcade spirits, and the other person came in going, you guys can kind of do whatever you want. Like, they didn't want to pressure us, which we really appreciate that people just want us to have a good time.
Yes.
And this is what we're here doing, but also at the same time, like, we've tried to express going, like, we're also, though, trying to do this as a part of, like, a job.
Again.
And trying to also do something that will also bring engagement and also still help and support us, and also where we can still have fun. It's one of those mixed bag situations where you're trying to sort of solve multiple problems at once, kind of thing, which is not a problem, but just sort of issues, I guess.
Essentially,
topics.
We're trying to address a topic that keeps getting brought to us over and over again.
Yeah.
And so if we had more people weighing in on that topic, or with ideas for that topic, that would be helpful. And in the meantime, that basically covers it. We'll probably wait till we get like 1,000 subscribers until we do another poll.
Yeah.
Because we just didn't have as many people. But again, we super appreciate all of our people. And when we say we like your comments and, please like, comment, and subscribe, that kind of thing.
We mean it.
Really do notice every single subscriber that we get. Like, we get alerts on our phone.
Constantly.
And I go, oh my God, look, we got a subscriber. And Scandal for Another Part of the House goes, what's their name? And we read off the username and stuff like that. So it's
great.
We get very enthusiastic about it. At any rate.
Yes. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. We do definitely really appreciate it. We do read all of the comments that we get. We really appreciate when people engage with each other, or even when they engage with our bots. It's really funny, to be perfectly honest, because we sometimes will get spam bots, and I love people's responses to them, and they're hilarious. So it's great to know that we have a crowd that's actually starting to develop. And I love being able to say that, going, we have a small crowd that is like, hey, we like what you do. And like, I can't even tell you how ridiculously like flattering that is.
It's very fun.
It's very nice. It's great to have you guys along. So also, other than that, please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi or our Patreon. Please feel free to also give us your thoughts on this particular issue in relation to the Arcana. We're really looking forward to having you guys on Doki Doki Literature Club. And like we said, we'll go back to Freshman Fantasies after Doki Doki Literature Club is done. Or if we get done with another one, we'll pop up with Freshman Fantasies instead. And then other than that, I have been Scandal.
And we'll eventually roll around to Arcade Spirits again, because we both did really want to play that one.
Yes.
As well as, like the comments, we watch them all the time, and we really do love them. So if you have anything to say, even if it's just hi, like we just are like, we share it between each other, we have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. We really do. We have group sit-down sessions about it, and it's fantastic. So thanks for joining us, guys.
And I have been Liz.
And it was great playing with you.
Bye!